Once again we're out and about on the Swale, Medway and this time the Thames, between the 2nd of September to the 4th of September 2024, and we're viewing shipping and craft from my Colvic Northerner, Irvetta. The Thames sailing barge Ironsides, built in 1900, is seen here anchored off Hearty Ferry in the Swale. On the west quay at Ridham Dock is the general cargo ship Ina Lehman, 3,450 gross registered tonnes and built in 2017. The utility vessel Sea Horizon, which has been working on the new connect cable operations in the Thames estuary. The tug Pullmore, belonging to Whitstable Marine Services, and I believe at the time of the photograph she had gearbox problems. Nick Murray's tug North Swale, built at Richard Dunstan's yard at Thorn in 1964, as the Triton for the Hull Steam Trawlers Mutual Insurance and Protecting Company. Alongside at Sheerness is the general cargo vessel Hilda B, built in Shanghai in 2011. Also alongside at Sheerness is the Ro-Ro Baltic Bright. She is a paper products carrier and she was built 1996 in Sweden. And finally alongside at Sheerness is the cement carrier Semi-Isle, recently arrived from Bremen, and she was built in 2000 in Poland. Svitzer tugs at Garrison Point, Sheerness, including the Beast, better known as the Svitzer Ramsey. Iberica have, alongside at Thamesport, and she is discharging rebar. Also alongside Thamesport is the aggregate dredger Arco Dyke. She's now 33 years old and the new owners are Heidelberg Materials. The Lindeborg alongside at Thamesport, discharging ballast aggregate into lorries. Alongside the Isle of Grain jet fuel terminal is the 74,000 deadweight ton Ryvegan Sun, built in 2007. 3 trains a day leave the Isle of Grain terminal to Colnbrook, which is to the west of Heathrow, where it is transferred, piped straight into Heathrow. Heathrow uses 22 million litres per day. We anchored the night in Sharfleet Creek and departed the next morning to pick up the first of the flood tide in Sea Reach. We are now departing Stangate Creek, bound for the Thames, and there's about another hour left of the ebb tide before we pick up the first of the flood at the Norse Watch Buoy. It looks as though there's a feeder ship and general cargo vessel alongside Thamesport which has arrived overnight. And here we're looking at the Isle of Grain ballast berth, and in the distance you can see piles of Type 1, which comes in large bulk carriers from Glensander in Scotland. Unfortunately, the weather forecast is predicted isolated heavy showers throughout the day. Here we see the MTS Valor, which is moored in the Yantlet Channel and is guarding the cable buoys for the new Connect cable laying operations. Outward bound in Sea Reach for the North Sea dredge grounds is the aggregate dredger City of Westminster, built at Appledore Shipyard in 1990. Following closely behind the City of Westminster is the Dutch aggregate dredger DC Vlinderen 3000, and she was built in the Netherlands in 2002. We have now crossed over to the north side and cleared the Sea Reach Channel as the London Gateway approaches in the distance. We are now passing Beluda and Svitzer tugs on their moorings at Shellhaven, and they covered the towage operations of departures and arrivals of container vessels that use the London Gateway. The first vessel we see at the London Gateway is the COSCO Shipping Volga, Hong Kong registered, 94,000 tonnes and built in 2017. Also alongside the London Gateway is the MSC Antonella, Portuguese registered, 96,000 tonnes and built in 2016. And finally the Kalahari Express, 75,000 tonnes, Liberian registered and built in 2010. The hopper dredger Malina, Belgian registered, 3,500 tonnes, built in 2003 and bound for Cliff Jetty. Outward bound from Tilbury too is the ro-ro vessel Downstream, and she's bound for Zeebrugge. Also outbound from Tilbury too is the Norbank, and she's bound for Rotterdam. Having discharged aggregate at Red Lion Wharf, Northfleet, the 17,500 tonne self-discharge bulk carrier Sandnes is outward bound for Chelsea in Norway to load more aggregate. Outward bound from Tilbury Dock is the CO2 carrier Embla, and she's bound for Sluiskil on the Ghent Canal in Belgium. Outward bound from Purfleet to Zeebrugge is the ro-ro cargo ship Victorine. Alongside Tilbury landing stage is Ambassador's cruise ship Ambience. Whitaker's Whitsar is alongside with bunkers. Inward bound for Woolwich is the GPS Alert. Alongside Northfleet Hope Container Terminal is the feeder ship BG Orange. Alongside Tilbury Grain Terminal is the 2021 built bulk carrier Federal Fraser, and she is discharging wheat from Canada. Alongside at Gray's Jetty is the Norwegian registered chemical oil products tanker Sten Baltic, and she was built in 2005. Discharging at Purfleet is the Star Curaçao, and she's classed as an edible oil tanker, Dutch registered and built in 2008. At Purfleet Deep Water Jetty we passed the Colball Fret Ro-Ros, Vespertine and Maxine. Inward bound for Fords at Dagenham is the Colball Fret Ro-Ro Wilhelmine. Discharging at Seacon's Tower Wharf, Northfleet, is the Wilson Bremen. Just a general view of Northfleet waterfront and the amount of housing that it's being built in the background. And here we're passing the Luxembourg-registered hopper dredger, the Meuse River, and she was built in 2020. With a good ebb tide behind us, we're making our way outward bound towards London Gateway. We are now passing the western extension of the London Gateway, and it looks like construction is almost finished. Arrived at the London Gateway during the day is the Vayenga Maersk, and she was built in 2018. We also get another view of the Beluda and Svitzer tugs on their Shellhaven moorings. Inward bound in Sea Reach is the container ship Nordic Italia, and she's bound for Northfleet Hope Container Terminal. Anchored in the Wesley Middle is the water injection vessel Iguazu, and she's waiting to proceed to Tilbury landing stage. Entering the Medway from Belfast is the Eames X, and she's bound for Thamesport to unload roadstone. We are now entering the Medway and making our way to Sharfleet Creek to anchor for the night. Outward bound from Thamesport to Rotterdam is the Wek de Hoe. Homeward bound the next day, we've steamed over to Thamesport to have a look at the Eames X as she's discharging roadstone into lorries. Arriving overnight to Thamesport is the Wek van Ruisdael. It looks as though the Ryvegan Sun has almost discharged a cargo of jet fuel oil. We are now leaving the Medway and entering the Swale, on our way back to Oare Creek. Jetstream's recently acquired vessel Cruiser, departing Queenborough for a day trip to Southend-on-Sea and an estuary cruise around the World War II Monsell forts. After a fantastic 3 days at sea, we end this video with a parting shot of the Thames sailing barge Ironsides. And I would also like to thank John Lamb for being at the helm whilst I get on with the filming.